Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to Pro Fan Talk. Get situated here. My name is Marcus Thomas. Thanks for joining me on this Thursday. How's everybody doing? Still got the NFL going on. A lot of other stuff going on in the world right now. I'm gonna leave that to some other people better suited to deal with that. I want to offer a release in just a quick second to get away. It's not going anywhere, so we will stick to sports tonight. But it's all good. Um, I see my pops in there. I see moms. What's up, Brian? What's up, TK? Shout out to my boy TK, man. TK is like one of my kids, man. I had inadvertently banned him from the group. Back in the chats. I see you, TK. I appreciate you and love you, man. What's up, Rob? I see you, Rob Povia. But classic. Brian, who's? Oh, that must be the. You must be talking about the poll question about the Eagles and Cowboys playing for conference title. So, but a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff going on. Trying to hold out hope for these Phillies, but not really giving me nothing to talk about. Nothing positive, anyways. Girardi need to get up out of here because he doing some stuff and he looked like he ain't even interested. So again, that's just I don't follow baseball. I watch it as a fan. That's about it. But it's that's not good. But we got some breaking news going on. Let's get to it. And look, it's like, guess who's back? Cap is back. Cap is back in the news. Supposedly he's been working out for the Las Vegas Raiders. So, and they hinted at something like that. I believe it was Brian Davis, the owner, who made a comment basically to the effect of yes, he should get a chance to play in the league, and and everybody was kind of like, well, why don't you give him one? And maybe this is what he's doing. Effion, what's going on in the house? My boy Andrew Effion, what's going on, partner? It is good to see you, brother. Got all my people showing up. Some of my Apple folks coming on. That's what's up. But yeah, Cap got to work out, and I hope he makes the most of it. I want to see him get a shot. I think they trying to make up for lost time. He's 6 years out of the league. Can he come in and do something? Who's to say he can't? Last couple of years, it's been teams signing people that had been out of the league, coaching high school football, or wasn't doing anything, and they got a call and they suited up, out of shape, and all of that kind of stuff. So stranger things have happened. So why can't he? He can sit in the meeting, and you don't lose everything because you haven't been playing. Yes, you are rusty, but he's been working out. He's been keeping himself in shape. He's been keeping himself in throwing shape. Getting in football shape is in a whole nother level. You don't get in football shape until you go to camp, so there's nothing you can do about that. Quarterback's a little bit different anyways, because quarterbacks don't bang in camp. Everybody else but quarterbacks. So I'd say he could go in. If you've seen some of these other people, and I was one of these people that was critical of a lot of these teams that were signing these guys from the trash heap or from the couch or from a high school football team or whatever the situation was. And it's like, well, why can't you give Cap an opportunity? Now, granted, he did burn some bridges. Some of the stuff that he was doing was like, okay, everybody was kind of giving the arched eyebrow, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are in the league that have done a hell of a lot worse than Colin Kaepernick. So let's keep that 100. But I hope he makes the most of the opportunity. Out of all of the teams, the Raiders makes the most sense because that's just what the Raiders do. I thought that Seattle would give him a shot. I think Seattle's silly for not giving him a shot. But so we'll see what he does with it. I saw Stephen A. Smith's comments about it, and basically he was like, "So we just gonna act like he can walk on the field after a 6-year hiatus and still be that guy." Um, that's a fair statement. I don't think that's what he's trying to do. Again, there are a lot of people who were not as talented as Kaepernick that got opportunities and to be a backup or whatever the situation was. We had one here in Philadelphia for a minute, but I think he's good enough to be somebody's backup. And if it, one play happens and he becomes a starter, or he sees a little bit of time, that won't be the craziest thing that's ever happened. So, you know, kudos to him, and I hope he makes the most of it. And I hope he don't burn these bridges by doing some of the other stuff he used to do, and some of the comments and some of the stuff that was going on, with people that weren't playing football. So I hope he makes the most of it, man. So what else happened? We signed Jimmy Mooreland. Huge sign for us. Another good cornerback, another good veteran cornerback with playtime, somebody that you can plug and play. And I think he will be a very good fit with Slay, with Bradbury. Maybe he'll be a nickel. I don't know. But if not for nothing else, that's good for competition. Shane, what's going on, young fella? Good to see you in the chat, man. Tell somebody about me. Seeing all my peoples in the chat. That's what's up. But Moreland's a good sign. I think our defense is gonna be back to what Philadelphia does best. And we are known, the city's known for their defense, period. Back since the Reggie White days, that's how we make things work. So we'll see what's going to happen. Another good sign. Maybe Howie's not done yet. We'll find out. Still not sure. I'm trying to do some homework on him. Like, why did Washington get rid of him? He didn't really play much. He played like 7 games for the Texans. So I think he was hurt a little bit. He was nicked up. Nothing serious. But I was curious as to why the Commanders get rid of him. You see me thinking, because I got to think of Washington Commanders. I still want to say the Redskins, but the Commanders. I was still curious as to why they got rid of him. I don't know if it was a numbers game. I don't know. So we shall see. But yeah, that's another good sign. And let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah. Next week, my man Willie T, one of my best friends, confirmed it today. Had a conversation with him. He's gonna join me next week live. If something happens or if something pops up, we can still pre-record. But as of right now, I have him scheduled to be on the show live next week. So that should be fun. Always good to catch up with my boy T. I tell people all the time, there's not too many people. I could probably name on 2 hands all the people that I really keep in contact with, really on 1 hand during the year. But Willie T is somebody I keep in touch with all the time. Just one of my good friends, was my best man in my wedding. So T is my boy. And we should have some fun next week. And hopefully you'll join us. And it should be a good time. So we're finally getting a little bit of notoriety, we being the Eagles, for all of the offseason moves, the draft moves this year. What's going on, Vince? What's going on, Greg? We're finally getting some little notoriety. The Eagles, if you've been paying attention, are slowly but surely creeping their way on up in the power rankings. Now, let's be real. Power rankings is nothing but someone's opinion. That's it. Based on what they've seen, what the team has done, and what the team did last season, who's playing, who's hurt, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting by the time camp gets here to see how that's evened itself out. But the fact that the way we started last year and our moves this year and us creeping up, the rankings. I think I checked PFF. We had moved up to 13th. Um, I know some other media types and talking heads that had us right around in the 20s. But just the fact we're up there is a good sign. I think everybody, in my opinion, everybody really wants to rank us higher. Based on the moves we made, the draft picks that we got and signed, the boost to our defense, everybody I think wants to rank us higher. Why aren't they? Because of Jalen Hurts. And that's fair. Because everybody wants to wait and see how is Jalen going to play. We've been saying this for the last 2-3 months, especially after our draft. It's all on him. No excuses. Jalen Hurts and the defense. But specifically with Jalen, got all the pieces to the puzzle. We got a running game. I know a lot of people might not be big on Miles Sanders. I am, because I still think you got a guy that's got a chip on his shoulder because he didn't get the ball enough last year. Then he got nicked up, and that's his biggest criticism. He's always hurt. And that, again, that is fair and valid. But you got a guy going into the last year of his contract. I still consider him a home run hitter if you feed him the right way. If you get him involved in the game, get him warmed up, get him in the flow, he can be a home run hitter. I think Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders is a great 1-2 punch. You can sneak Gainwell and Boston Scott in there, however you want to do it. I think if Jordan Howard is around on the roster when we start, he'll probably be the odd man out because Gainwell's like a receiver, and Boston Scott, I don't know what they're going to do with Boston Scott. But having said all of that, we got a good running game. We got the wide receivers. We got the tight end. And we just got to put it all together. We got the offensive line. We still have arguably the best offensive line in football, which would lead one to think that we would be able to run the ball better. Not better, more. We ran the ball great last year. And I'm taking all of Jalen Hurts stuff off the table. I don't want to see Jalen Hurts run the ball. I want to see Jalen Hurts scramble and extend plays. There's a difference. I want to see him scramble and extend plays. I don't want to see Jalen Hurts running the ball. Every now and then, I know you're going to sneak it in. You're going to sneak an RPO in based on whoever we play and whatever matchups we have. But I don't want to see him running the ball 12, 13 times a game. I want you to give those carries to the man that you are paying to run the ball. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see Jalen Hurts get nicked up because he took off, pulled the ball from the running back and he took off on an 18-yard run, but he gets nicked up because he gets turf toe or something goofy like that. I don't want to see that. You drop back, you read the defense, and you deliver the ball. If you don't see nothing there or trouble's coming, then you use your legs to get up out of there. That's what I want to see Jalen Hurts do. I don't want Jalen Hurts to have more than 5 carries a game. I know sometimes things happen, so that has to be that's realistic. So, Chris, coach has to control what? The run game or the RPOs? I'm thinking you're talking about. You're right in that regards, or the run pass options. I want to see less of them, and I keep saying this. Go back and watch what Donovan did his first 2 years. Go back and watch what the Eagles did early in the year last year. So, that's what I want to see. Chris, they really weren't telling Jalen to run. You can go back and you can look at some of the tape of some of the games last year where he pulled it as an RPO. That's a run pass option. So he has the option to do whatever he wants to do. Normally, when you have a run pass option, you got to read. Your read is wherever the hole is, what is that defensive end? Is that defensive end coming after you, or is he going after the ball? If you stick the ball into the pocket with the running back and the defensive end crashes down, you're going to pull it and go around them. If the defensive end plays high and he's protecting the outside so the quarterback won't go around him, what are you supposed to give it up? There's a lot of plays that Jalen Hurts had last year where he could have given the ball up. He could have gave the ball up, but he didn't. Worked out to his advantage because he's such a good athlete. But there were a lot of times where he could have gave the ball to Sanders or Scott or Gainwell, and they would have had some room to make some things happen. So, yes, it's kind of on Sirianni, but some of that's on Jalen Hurts too. So, and also some of that's on the defense. Some of that's on the defense. You go after the running back all the time. You make the running back or you make the quarterback scramble because you never know what's going to happen. If he tweaks something, if he forces a turnover, forces a fumble because he's not used to carrying the ball, all the stuff like that comes into play. So I get that 50-50. A lot of that, yes, it's on Sirianni to not call a run pass option. I'm with you on that one. Shane, yes, we need to keep running the ball. I'm going to post that one up, bro. Me being a running back. Yes, we need to keep running the ball. However, we need to keep running the ball to keep the offense balanced. Let me say that again. We need to keep running the ball to keep the offense balanced. So I want to see Miles Sanders. I want to see the running backs get 15 to 20 touches a game. This year, Jalen Hurts should be throwing the ball 25 to 30 times a game. That's not an unreasonable request. But all of that is based upon, is he getting the ball out on time? Is he hitting receivers in the breaks? Is his anticipation where he needs to be? Is he reading defense correctly? All of that stuff comes into play. So, and I'll say it again, make no mistake, he saw the tape of the Tampa Bay game in the playoffs last year. He saw the tape. He saw what the dude said about him not being able to read. He saw the tape. He saw it. And the one good thing about Jalen is, as bad as that insult was, the one thing you can't argue with is the truth. And that dude was speaking the truth. They were running the defense, and he wasn't reading the defense right, and he left some men open, and he left points on the field, period. And you can't argue with that. There's nothing to argue with. So the only thing you can do is get better. That's it. Big eye in the sky don't lie. And I'm quite sure that he has watched that tape multiple times. Because as a professional, especially as a quarterback, that is the height of embarrassing. They called you out. You are an NFL quarterback that can't read a defense. They called you out. You got to respond. You got to respond, bro. So we'll see what Jalen does with the offense, and we'll see Nick Sirianni open up the playbook this year more than he did last year. What I don't want to see is he opens the playbook, and again, we'll go back to pass. We get pass happy. And I don't want to see that. We have to have a balanced attack, period. If we go 30-10, I'll go 30-10. But again, I want to see at least 10 to 15 touches by the running backs. I'm not talking about passes. I'm talking about running back touches, running the ball. Not talking about passes. I'm not talking about RPOs. I'm talking about handing the ball off to your running back. So if we can do that and have a 10 to 15 on the ground, everything else can go in the air and the screens, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. So we'll see what's going to happen. What's going on, Chris? Marquise Bell Buzz. We'll see what's going to happen with that. We got a lot of things. We still got a lot of time, and there's still a lot of things that can happen before camp starts. What's up, Jeremiah? Good to see you, man. Being a staple on the show, I appreciate it. So we got a lot of time. A lot of things can still happen before training camp. So I think probably in the next month or so, before it gets hot and heavy, we're going to have a show where we talk about expectations. What are our predictions and expectations for the Eagles? Like I said earlier, I still think that most of the media heads, most of the talking heads out there on TV want to rank the Eagles higher, but the question mark is on Jalen Hurts. And you know, or if you don't know, let me tell you, when it comes to when the season actually starts, what I like to tell people is I pass no judgment on a team until week 4. You got 3 games under your belt. You're going into week 4. By week 4, you know what type of team you have. You know if your team is running the ball well. You know if they're throwing the ball well. You know what your receivers are doing, what your running backs are doing, what your quarterback's doing, what kind of offensive line you got. Do you have aggressive defense? Can you be an aggressive defense? Are your cornerbacks and your safeties quality players? Can they shut somebody down? All of those questions can be answered by game number 3. You're going into week 4. You've seen what you need to see. Now you can start looking at matchups. By that time, you should have no questions. Every now and then, somebody gets hurt. Somebody else steps in. You get a surprise. You gave this guy the ball, and he took it to the house every time. And where did he come from? There's always going to be a rookie or a free agent that nobody's thinking about, and they jump on the scene, and they blow everybody out of the water. That's going to happen. Hopefully, it'll happen for us. By week 3 and week 4, we should already be able to know what Gannon is going to do with Nakobe Dean. We'll be able to know, we'll be able to see what big man in the middle, Jordan Davis, what is he looking like on the field? Is his size and weight, is that going to be a problem? Can he rush the passer? Is he going to be in on passing situations? Or is he just going to be there for a run stopper? All of those questions will be answers. We'll be able to see, how is Bradbury playing? Was he worth it? Is he going to play like a Pro Bowler? Or are we going to have the same situation like we had a couple years ago with Nnamdi Asomugha? He was out with the Raiders. He was balling because they used him. He was a good fit for that defense they were running. When he came to Philly, not so much. Not so much. So that's a good barometer to look at when we talk about, does a player fit the offense or the defense that you run? Because that is not always the case. That is not always the case. Your Steelers, man. They're gonna have a sound defense, but the Steelers, it all comes down to what your quarterback is gonna do. You got a big question mark behind the center, and that your success or failure is gonna be at quarterback. Do you have a playmaker? Do you have a game manager? All of that stuff. So big question mark for the Steelers, but we'll see. We'll see what they got behind the center. That's what it comes down to. So we keep sliding up the ranks. So it'll be interesting when we get back to camp. Our defense is going to anchor us this year. I think with all of the moves made, everybody's looking at our defense. And we've got playmakers at both corners. We got playmakers at both defensive ends. We have a playmaker in the linebacker core, and we got a playmaker in the middle. We got Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis. Are they going to find a way to put both of them big boys on the field at the same time? Because if they do, if Jordan Davis can do what we think he can do, and again, let me say this: I don't see Jordan Davis busting through the line, putting pressure on all the quarterbacks. What I do see is Jordan Davis accounting for a double team. If you take Jordan Davis one-on-one, I'm hoping he can get through and wreak some havoc. So they're not going to be able to do that. Can he garner a double team that'll free somebody? Free Hargrave, free Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham coming off the end. What's that going to look like? Our rotation on defense, on our defensive front, is going to be deadly. It should be deadly. So that'll be fun to watch. We are going to be a defensive city once again. All Slay has to do is keep doing what Slay's been doing. He's been playing solid, and every now and then somebody will make a mistake, and he makes them pay for it. What's up, Tom? My boy Tom Arnone in the house. Yeah, man, the Eagles and the Cowboys, I think that's where it's going to be. I think we are a better team than the Cowboys, but you gotta, even though you don't like them, you gotta give Dak the respect, because right now he's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, and that's the only thing that's holding us. That's why they're 1 and we're 1A, in my opinion. Right now, in preseason, Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. And the only person that needs to make up the ground, Dak is going to do what he does. We can clown him and go on all of that stuff about how he looked last year and all of that kind of stuff. But when you set them up side by side, Dak is a better quarterback, period. Keep it 100. But it also is going to be on Jalen to up his stock. He's got to be able to up his stock. So, I should have found a better picture, but because I should have got a picture of him throwing the ball, because I don't want him running the ball. Although this is the play that basically cemented him as the Eagles franchise quarterback. This play, when he, I believe that's Granderson on the ground, when he planted that right foot and cut it all the way back. So we'll see. Mike, you are not wrong, bro. CeeDee Lamb is legit, though. CeeDee Lamb is legit. He doesn't, he's not Amari Cooper good. But you know what? I won't even say that, because here's what I think. Amari Cooper is that good because he has CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is no scrub. Amari Cooper was no scrub. So Amari Cooper, you definitely had the game plan, which left CeeDee Lamb free, and vice versa. Amari Cooper was already established, so he's the guy. Now we got that same duo. We got Devontae and AJ Brown. And nobody's talking about Dallas Goedert. And I want to keep it that way. Dallas Goedert is sneaky good. And the more people don't talk about him, the more it benefits us. Jake, what's good, dude? The more people forget about Dallas Goedert, the better. And you know what? Not for nothing. Dallas Goedert looked rough a couple times last year because he had some drops. And you like, come on, man. So, but having said that, I do think Goedert is one of the top 10 tight ends in the league, in my opinion. So he's somebody that we got to get the ball to. When I say, Chuck, when I say sneaky good, I mean nobody's talking about him. We know he's good. Anybody that watches film knows he's good, but you're not hearing Dallas Goedert on ESPN and Pro Fan Talk, and you're not the media heads aren't talking Dallas Goedert. So you don't think about him that much. They'll talk about Kelsey in Arizona. He's the upper echelon. So I'm sorry, Kelsey in Kansas City. Ertz is in Arizona, my bad. But even that, they'll talk about Ertz still. But my point is that Goedert doesn't get a lot of the hype that all the other ones get. And I'm good with that. Overlook them. Don't game plan them. And that's when you get players that have breakouts. Once you have a breakout, then people start game planning you. And that's what we want. Because that means you got to leave. Anytime you focus on one thing, you're missing something else. That's why you need two good receivers. You got to pick your poison. As bad as, and I've said this before, but think about this for a minute. For as bad as people said that Jalen Hurts was, a running quarterback, can't throw the ball, can't read defenses, blah, blah, blah. And again, valid criticisms, very valid criticisms. But for as bad as throwing the ball as everybody says he is, we still had a rookie wide receiver who caught more yards than any rookie wide receiver in Eagles history. How does that happen? As bad as they said Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball, Devontae Smith still did what he did. What's up, Shona? So it can't be one or the other. He's got to be, he might not be, when you stack him up to everybody else, he's not as good as everybody else throwing the ball. I can live with that. But he got our number one, the ball, enough times where he can make plays. So I'm good with that, which means everybody was game planning Devontae Smith last year. Who was on the other side that they were worried about? It wasn't Jalen Reagor. It wasn't J-Jaw. It wasn't Quez Watkins. Who was it? They game planned Devontae Smith, and with the setbacks that Jalen had throwing the ball, he still got his. So now we got A.J. Brown on the other side. So now you got to pick your poison. And now we got Dallas Goedert in the middle. So now you got to pick your poison. We got a three-headed monster that's legit. That's legit. And back to us running the ball, if we can still have that balance, running the ball, passing the ball, please use more play action. If we can get that in the mix, we have no deficiencies. None. We got the best offensive line in football. We have the best running offensive line in football. What's up, twin sis? We got the squad. So all we got to do is put the pieces together. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Now I'm going to switch up a little bit. We're going to talk Gruden. because I'm very, 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 very interested in this situation right here. Hold on, I want to show this real quick. This is from Mike. I wish Hurts the best. Last year was a mulligan, new coaching, new players. This is really make or break season for Hurts. Yes. Mike, I agree with 100%, bro. I called last year. I like to call him, he was a red shirt rookie. That's what I like to say. He was a red shirt rookie. He played 4 games. He played okay. He played better than expected. He threw the ball relatively well under Peterson. Then they pulled the rug, got him a brand new offense. So now you start from square one. And not for nothing, you got to give props to Doug Peterson because Doug Peterson knows how to coach a quarterback. Not saying that Sirianni doesn't, but some of the things that Jalen was doing under Peterson was impressive. Throwing the ball. So, again, and you know how I feel. He's in the second year for the first time in his career. He's in the second year of the same offense. That means something. But this Gruden issue, man. Gruden said all of that foul stuff. Birds of a feather flock together. So whoever he was saying it to thinks the same way. That is the key. Because whoever he was talking to is most likely a GM and or owner. Because let's just say he was talking to a GM. That GM works for an owner that probably speaks that same language. And my guess is there are some communications that the NFL really doesn't want out there. And by the courts throwing out the NFL's hope to dismiss the case, letting John Gruden go to court, that means somebody's going to get subpoenas. Somebody's got to give up some legit information, or there's going to be a problem with the NFL. And what I'm hoping is there's going to be some information to come out, and there's going to be a lot of owners who are going to be on the hot seat. Mind you, all of this is sitting under the umbrella of all of this mess that's going on in Washington. That's half the problem. He got fired. He don't even work for the Washington Commanders. The only person that received any discipline was the guy that had nothing to do with the organization. How does that work? Clearly somebody had a vendetta. But whoever that someone was, they knew where to look. They knew what to look for. So there's more apples that are going to fall from that tree, and the NFL doesn't want that because there is a huge racial powder keg waiting to explode. Because if you use that type of language and there's somebody on the other end of that phone or that email that's responding likewise, when you got a league that's made up of more than 75% minorities, you got a huge problem on your hands. You thought the Brian Flores incident was bad. This is going to blow it up. Because now you'll have proof. And that's another one of those things where when you're in there, you know. You can't prove it, but you know. So now they'll have proof, written proof of some of the things that were said. And that's not a good look for the league. That's not a good look for some of these owners. And you already see they trying to do everything they can to get Daniel Snyder out of Washington. He's going to be NFL's version of Sterling. It's only a matter of time. Daniel Snyder, in my opinion, is running out of rope. And he hasn't done himself any favors. So it's pretty bad when the other owners don't like you. Because at the end of the day, they all work together to make each other more money. So they don't want to kick nobody out the club. That's costing them money. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what they do with this. And if it gets to the point where Congress is going to have to get involved like you did with the steroid issues. Now, I'm hoping that if that happens, our government will look a lot more a lot more with it, a lot more qualified than they did during the steroid trials, because they look like flaming idiots. They look like a bunch of people that didn't know anything. They look like a bunch of nerds that never played sports and looked on the internet for 5 minutes and thought they knew something or knew who they were talking about. Yeah, I saw that, Vince. They just bought land. That doesn't mean anything. That does not mean a thing. That just means they're looking for a new place to build a stadium. That don't mean Daniel Snyder. They'll still kick him out. The big scheme of things is he potentially could cost the NFL billions. Billions. Rico, go Birds. I see you. So we'll see what's going to happen. We will definitely see what's going to happen. But keep your eye on that one, because that is a powder keg waiting to explode. And when people like that, when people with that much money, when they get taken to task, they just like anybody else. They just like a kid that got caught with his hand in the candy jar. First thing they want to do is tell. Or how you going to say this about me when such and such was doing this too? That's the first thing them owners going to do, because all they are is a bunch of rich brats. So we'll see. Keep your eye on that one. Definitely keep your eye on that one. So, yo, this mess right here. The funny thing with this NIL thing and this whole situation with Nick Saban, he just opened a can of worms. I said it last week. He opened the door that he might not be able to close. And the funny part was what he said wasn't wrong. I understood what he was saying, and he wasn't wrong. The problem is you made it sound like you were going after Jimbo Fisher and you were going after Deion Sanders because they got the recruits that you coveted and you couldn't do it. So it made you sound like you had sour grapes because they did what you couldn't do. How dare them take a recruit from Alabama? If he would have stopped it just by saying we lost the recruiting battle, but when he said they bought every player and when he mentioned the kid down at Jackson State, I agree with everybody saying that he threw the kids under the bus. You don't know what that kid's going through. Now you done brought his family and everything that comes with that in the limelight. And if you think that doesn't matter, you got to look at it like this. Because now we are in information is instant. I didn't say correct information. Information is instant. Most people don't worry about whether that information is right or wrong. Most people just want to be the first ones to have it. That's the biggest problem with social media right now. Nobody does homework. I can put out a tweet and most people will retweet it and send it and share it and all of that kind of stuff and won't even try to verify it or back it up. But what Nick Saban did, and again, this is a class issue because he's up here and this kid is going to Jackson State. Guarantee you the kid ain't got money like Nick Saban, so he's not thinking on that level. But now you done told everybody that this kid and his family have a deal for $1 million. So you don't know who's going to come out the woodwork coming after this kid's family because, yo, I heard you got $1 million. Can you hook me up? And everything that comes with that. People coming out of the woodworks, asking you for stuff. People trying to take advantage of you. People trying to rob you. That stuff happens. All of that stuff that you hear about happens. For the same reason they would tell Nick the Snitch. I like that. For the same reason they used to tell us, be careful when you go to the clubs and all of that kind of stuff. They would tell us that because I've seen in the clubs where you look at the guys and say, yo, there goes such and such that play for the Eagles or play for the Bengals or play for the Rams. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk by and I'm going to bump into him and spill my drink on purpose. And we're going to start a little something. And if we play it right, maybe we can get 10 grand a piece. That's how these guys do. They will plot against you. They will plot against you because you're in a situation where the court of a public opinion comes before a real court. So the public opinion will, deem you guilty by association or whatever the situation is. And now it used to be a time where that kind of stuff didn't matter. Now it does. Now that stuff can cost you your job. It can cost you a lot of money. And it sends out ripples. So you got to be careful. So bringing it back to what Nick Saban said, Nick Saban basically put a target on that kid's back. Most people are not going to look at it that way. Saban put a target on that kid's back. Now, I know he came out, he put the tweet out, I got $1 million and my mama's still living in the 3-bedroom house with 5 kids and all of that kind of stuff. Nobody don't know. Everybody didn't know what his situation is, but now everybody's looking at his situation. Maybe he didn't want everybody in his business, but now his business is out there. He put a target on that kid's back, and he ought to be ashamed for it. And now he tried to walk it back, and Deion gave the perfect answer. You're not going to say something in public and then want to apologize in private. Nah, let's make this a public conversation so we can hear both sides, and that way there's no misunderstanding. No misunderstanding. So I want to see how this is going to end up. Yes, eventually the NCAA and the coaches and all of that kind of stuff, they're going to have to do something because they got to figure out how to rein the situation in. But it's hard to do that because they were doing that before. Now there's just a name to it. For those of y'all that didn't catch the show last week, if you played sports in high school and you know somebody that went to a big D1 school, ask them how their recruiting visit was. Things happen on the big campuses. You think it's just a movie or something you saw on Friday Night Lights. Hey, they get that stuff from somewhere. They talk to somebody to get them stories. Some of that stuff is true. I said it last week. I'll say it again. If you've never seen Spike Lee's He Got Game, Denzel Washington plays what's my man from the Celtics? Why can't I think of his name right now? Who was in He Got Game? It was Denzel and the dude played. He was playing for the Celtics at the time. He was Jesus Shuttlesworth. That's gonna bother me now. Chris, what's his name? Ray Allen. Thank you. Sheesh. See, my grandson's on it. He know. But if you've seen that, check out that movie. It's a great movie. But there's a scene where, he's the number 1 basketball recruit in the country. And all the colleges are pulling out all the stops. And he goes to visit this college and watch the movie. And you'll understand what I'm saying. And if you don't think stuff like that happens at these big colleges, these huge colleges, come on, man. So for Nick Saban to say the stuff that he's saying now, that is very, very hypocritical. Very hypocritical. And Prime told him, Coach Prime told him, he was like, y'all must have forgot when I came out of school, him giving the interview, sitting with his family, and he made the comment, say, when I go to the pros, I'm gonna take a pay cut. Deion Sanders said that on a live interview. They was already thinking that he was something that he wasn't, because Deion was the one wearing the gold chains and all of that kind of stuff. So back then, everybody thought if you had gold chains, you was drug dealing, all that kind of stuff, not realizing his family owned, they used to sell the gold chains. They had a shop. They sold the gold and stuff like that. That's why he always wore the gold chains. He created the moniker of prime time. He created all of that stuff. He created it purposefully. But Prime's comment was, I'm not the one to come at about this stuff, because I know about it. And he's absolutely right. John says, John don't agree. John doesn't say, let me see. I don't see the NFL playing, at least playing for the NFC conference. Obviously, 2 in the division. Yeah, did I say? Okay. That's fair. Well, no, I'm talking about our conference. The NFC least. That's what I was talking about, John. I'm not talking about winning the NFC. That would be nice. But from that standpoint, I agree with you. I don't see us or the Cowboys winning the NFC unless we see some things that we didn't expect to see, period. Unless we see some things that we didn't expect to see. And if that happens, if going into week 5 and 6, we're like, okay, Jalen Hurts, okay, you did work in the offseason. I see the difference. Unless that happens, all we got to do is win our conference. John, that's all we got to do. Because you also got to remember, by the time we get to the playoffs, who's hurt, who's not. Because a lot of times, it's not the best team that gets to the playoffs or gets through the playoffs. It's the healthiest team that gets through the playoffs. Just imagine if Odell Beckham Jr. had gotten hurt in the Super Bowl a quarter earlier. Everybody's always a step away, man. So you never know what's going to happen. The best team doesn't always make it. The healthiest team does. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen. And there's going to be some unexpected things. People are going to come out of nowhere. What happened to this guy? He was on the squad. How come you wasn't playing him? All of those questions. All of those gripes we had for Jonathan Gannon last year about playing a passive defense and, seeing Seth on the show complain about that every week. Well, now we got the horses to play however you want to play. There should be nothing, no reason why is my glasses doing like this? There should be no reason why our defense is not on point. So we shall see what is going to happen. But closing out with this the NIL stuff, they're going to have to make a decision. I think the conferences are going to get together, and this is going to usher in a new era of college football, period. There'll be more parity. There'll be a lot more evenness, I guess. But we'll see. We'll see what they're going to do. But not for nothing. I think Saban just looks like a big crybaby. And we'll see next year who has the number 1 recruit class and what kind of deals are in place. So we'll see. We shall see. But man, we flying by, man. We got 5 minutes left. Good grief. Good grief. Don't forget next week, Willie T, former Eagles linebacker and Oakland Raiders linebacker, the guy that was in the play, the tuck rule play, Willie T was part of that play. He was bringing pressure on Brady when he tucked the ball. He fumbled it. Man, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. He was in the play. But he will be joining me next week. And also, I'm working on some new stuff. So follow me on my fan page, the Pro Fan Perspective on Facebook. Join up, follow me, smash this like button. And also, if you have any questions, if you want to ask a question to put it on the show, what I'm trying to do is send me a video clip via my Facebook fan page. I'm trying to put some stuff together to do some different things, and I want to have video questions. So if you want to talk smack about the Eagles, talk smack on the Cowboys, whatever, send me a video clip. Make a 15 to 30 second video clip asking your question, whatever it is, and I can get them and put them on the show. So trying to do something different, trying to expand my reach a little bit, trying to reach out. If you got friends that are fans of other teams, listen, I'm trying to cover the whole NFL. So I'm bring them in. We can talk smack against them. We can talk smack with them. But at the end of the day, I want to talk about the NFL. I'll always be based in Philly. Don't get it twisted. But as somebody that played in the league, we all connected. So just like I had Willie T played for Oakland. Just like I had Jason Dunn. Jason Dunn played here, then played at Kansas City. I want to tap into all those experiences, man. So if you know people in other cities, or if you know people that are fans of the Eagles, they just live elsewhere, send them this link so we can try to hook up with them. I'd love to have an Eagles fan from California post a question or something I could play as a video. That would be dope. But we're going to keep on doing it. We're going to keep on growing. I'd like to thank everybody because my Facebook fan page reached 500. I remember when I had 75 people. So I just reached 500 last week. So I appreciate everybody following me. Appreciate the support, being engaged, the comments, the opinions. I want everybody's opinions, man. There's enough room for everybody to eat. Send your stuff in. So now the next goal is to get to 1K, right? Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. But listen, man, I'm about to get out of here. So good show this week. I appreciate everybody jumping in the chat. Chat was live tonight. Thanks, sis. I appreciate it. 500, that's big for me. But we're going to do it again next week. Don't forget to smash the like button. If you know any friends or anybody that missed it, send them the link. It's immediately available after I get off the air. So if you missed it, you can still watch it. You can still send me comments. See you, Mom. Yeah, the body bag game. Yep. That's my dude, T. But yeah, we're gonna do some things, and I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I appreciate y'all and look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.